Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 2 Minute Warning, the fast-paced American football podcast in which the time is in short supply, but the opinions are not, and neither apparently tonight is my brain capacity. It's been a long night already. We've already done one podcast and on to the second. This time I am joined by my co-host Matt. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Just come in from a family barbecue on this bank holiday Monday, and back to work for the first time in 5 and a bit months tomorrow morning. So yeah, apart from the whole work thing, I'm fine. How are you, Jez?
Yeah, it's been an interesting day. I spent a large portion of it driving around the county in which I live, trying to buy a garden shed. Apparently, they don't do garden sheds in shops anymore. You have to buy them online. To which I retorted, but what if I need to return it? Or what if I don't like the shed? Like, I want to touch a shed, see if it's the shed I want, and buy the shed. Is that so hard?
You want to give it a good shake, don't you?
Yeah,
Shake,
I want to, knock it about a bit, make sure
Yeah,
that the wind isn't going to
absolutely.
trash it.
Yeah.
But no, not allowed. Apparently, 2020 says no.
Ridiculous.
And then came home and took in some other streams. Took in Captain Sorrow for a bit, who was playing Lilo and Stitch, and then joined Duff Valley for the pain that is Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I want to say Crossroads of Time on the SNES. It's a complicated game that had me flashing back to the PTSD that was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in my own video game streams. So
yeah, that was interesting.
And then it was onto the main roster where we had technical difficulties. So all in all, it's been one of those days. So hopefully we can have smooth running here for 2 Minute Warning. It's going okay so far, touch wood.
Yeah.
And we've got an interesting show today where we mix it up a little bit because there isn't a whole lot of news out there still coming out of these training camps. 2 weeks away from the season, I feel like we should have a lot more news.
Yeah,
and we don't.
It'll all happen next week, and we'll just be inundated with stories and be here for about 5 hours.
I hope so. I hope to be bombarded with things to discuss at some point. It hasn't happened yet in the off season,
No,
but we've made the best of it, and we'll get into a bit more of what we've done to alleviate the fact there isn't much news a little bit later. But the news we do have begins with the fact that the college football season actually officially kicked off on Saturday night when Austin Peay took on Central Arkansas. The game was broadcast live on ESPN and showcased the very different feel that we're going to get from all forms of football this year. 2,000 fans were allowed to attend. Not that it looked like there were 2,000 people there. They sat out in small family groups, and the public address system reminded them often to stay socially distanced, wear their masks, and a bit strange. How are we feeling with 2 minutes on the clock about this change, this new form of watching American football in 2020? You can start us off.
Okay, so don't get me wrong. I'm elated that football is back. I think it's going to be really strange because there's no real crowds, like you were saying. I've not watched the game, so I will have a good old look at that. Like I said, no real crowds there. I just feel that it's going to be a strange old season, regardless of the level of competition. I think it's going to be this season is going to be really, really, really strange. But hey, football's back. NFL's back in 2 weeks, and I can't wait to watch it. How about yourself?
I think if nothing else, this game showed that it can be done. and that with the measures in place, you can play the sport of American football in 2020 with all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big conference game. We're not talking like, Oklahoma or Alabama or anybody. It was two tiny like colleges from like backwater parts of different states. These two teams, I think, are the only colleges in their conference who are still playing games. So they've made up their own schedule and they're making up their own championship, and it's all a bit weird. But hey, they're going for it and they're playing football, and that's all you can ask for. There were lots of things in it that I think the NFL are probably going to adopt. Like the referees weren't using physical whistles. They were using electronic whistles. They pushed a button on their belt to blow a whistle. They were all masked up. It just looked like everything else going on in 2020. It kind of felt normal now. But we're here. Football's happening. And college football got us started on that front. Good for them.
Absolutely.
Onwards then.
Okay, so the Jacksonville Jaguars have agreed to trade the franchise defensive end Yannick Ngakoue to the Minnesota Vikings for a 2021 second round draft pick and a conditional 2022 fifth round draft pick that could go as high as a third round pick. How do we feel about this? And I'll pass it over to you for the 2 minutes to start.
I feel crap about it, honestly. Purely because he had to go to the Minnesota Vikings, didn't he? Of all the teams that he could have gone to around the league, no, he's gone to a team in the NFC North. Yeah. Gee, thanks, bud. And not only that, he was willing to take a pay cut from the franchise tag tender that he signed. So he's going to be paid $12 million for the year instead of the $17 million he was going to make.
Yeah.
He's going to make an immediate impact at Minnesota. They had that gap to fill, really. They've had a few players move on and get big contracts elsewhere.
Yeah.
The only kind of concern I would have if I was a Vikings fan is they're not going to be able to keep this guy easily next year. So you'll have him for this year, but trying to hold on to him is going to be a whole different story. You've got to pay Anthony Harris next year. You've got to pay Dalvin Cook next year. And he's going to demand massive money after taking a pay cut this year. That's what I think. What about you? How did you feel about it?
Well, I picked this up, I think either yesterday or the day before, and they got a player, didn't they? Like you said, it's bad news for the NFC North. I mean, he'll definitely make an impact, like you said, on the Vikings squad that they currently have. He brings his football knowledge and experience into that team, which can only be a good thing for them. I think it's unlucky for all the other NFC North offensives, and especially those that have shocking quarterbacks, like Chicago.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah. Bad news, but good for the Vikings. But I'm no fan of the Vikings either. So, hey.
Couldn't have gone to,
Green Bay?
No, not Green Bay. I would have even accepted New England or another team that I really don't like. Stop bringing good players into other teams in the North. It's not fair. Anyway, so as we mentioned, with the news being a little sparse at the moment, we've decided to crack on with our State of the Franchise segments. So we advertised already that we were going to talk about the AFC West today. But in addition, we are also going to talk about the NFC West. So we're going to completely go west, to quote a boy band whose name I've forgotten. Is it Boyzone?
Go west? I don't know.
We'll go with Fievel instead. Fievel went west, and he's a small mouse type person. These references are not working. Let's crack on. We're going to start with the Denver Broncos, and you can kick us off. Here are 2 minutes for you.
Okay, so Broncos. Why do we have to start with them? Seriously, they're a horrible team. I mean, the only good thing about the Broncos in the last 10 years was the fact that Peyton Manning played for them at some point in his career and was highly successful. I mean, in recent years, they've not really done anything, as far as I can remember. In fact, I don't think they've done nothing. It's just nothingness with them. I think they will make a whole hash of their season this year. That's my pure Bronco hatredness for them, and I just don't like them. I'm going to be really horrible and say 4-12. Sorry, Broncos, but you suck. How about you?
So I don't think very much of this team either. They haven't done well since they had Peyton Manning and he retired.
Yeah.
My voice is going funny. People rave a lot about Drew Lock since he came in via the draft, but I don't really think he's all that. He's certainly not the caliber of Peyton Manning, obviously, or even going back to when they had Jay Cutler at QB. He's not even as good as that, I don't think. And people also rave about head coach Vic Fangio. He's a great defensive coordinator, but I don't rate him as a head coach. There are a lot of former defensive coordinators that are just not very good head coaches.
No.
All the pieces seem to be coming together there, but I don't think that they're going to mesh particularly well. The excuses are going to run out, and I think 5-11.
More
not
generous
quite as harsh
me.
as you, but not good either. Losing record.
So we've got the worst team out of the way. I think we'll move swiftly on and go to a really nice place in the States that I want to go to, and we're going to go to Las Vegas. So as we all know, Las Vegas is now the home of the not Oakland Raiders. So take it away.
So they've got a shiny new stadium that they can't use yet properly, really. I mean, they can't have any fans there, at least. And it often takes a few years for John Gruden to kind of get in the groove when he goes to a new team. Fine. He's got the acumen and the knowledge and the ability to be a winning head coach.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really got the people around him on his team to be able to do that. People give Derek Carr a hard time. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
But nobody is really, or the people that are making personnel decisions for this team are not really putting the players around Derek Carr to make him look good in any way.
Yeah.
And so to fix this, the Raiders went out and they drafted not CeeDee Lamb, not Jerry Jeudy, but Henry Ruggs III. So we'll see how that works out. I'll stop beating around the bush. They're going to suck. 5-11 as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I have family allegiances to this team, but I don't support them. I mean, when were they any good? Right? I don't remember
70s.
them being. Yeah. Okay, 70s, long before my time. The only thing they have done, which has been really, really cool, is had this whole season ticket come in a 3D version of their stadium, which was really cool. I think other teams need to take note and actually do something. I'd quite like a 3D.
Time's up. Give me a number.
Time out, because I'm going to discuss the Oakland Raiders.
Okay, here you go. 2 more minutes.
Okay, so they've had this whole cool thing with the season tickets, which was impressed me when I saw an unboxing video online. I think that it doesn't matter where they're going to come from, because going from Oakland to Las Vegas, the gamble is absolutely huge. To coin a phrase where they're moving to with this whole gambling, it's going to be a case of pick a card, choose your number. My number is 4, and that's the amount of wins they're going to have. So it's going to be 4 and 12. Like you said, Derek Carr at QB is a decent QB, but their whole draft was a failure, in my opinion. I don't think it got graded very highly by the powers that be that do all this grading preseason. I don't know.
Duff Valley has said in the chat, actually, the Raiders draft over the last few years has been very odd. The Raiders drafting over the last 25 years has been odd.
Yeah.
We thought that was going to change when Al Davis passed away and the buck went to somebody else, but it's just still been weird. He also says that Vegas is a hockey town. I think the Raiders can do well in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think Vegas was a good move for them. It was a state that didn't have a professional football team in Nevada. Like Duff said, they've got the ice hockey team out in Vegas. But yeah, 4
and 12. So actually, we've matched on those first two. I said 5 and 11. You said 4 and 12. So okay, they both suck.
Yeah.
So now we move to the first of our 2 trips to Los Angeles today.
Yeah.
And with 2 minutes on the clock, let's talk about the Chargers.
Okay. So I liked watching the Chargers, but only on Hard Knocks. I don't really like watching them play football. Otherwise,
neither do Chargers fans.
No, absolutely. When do they have a full stadium? But yeah, I mean, they suck. I mean, I remember them for their stadium jingle, you know, the charge thing, and Philip Rivers. But yeah, Philip Rivers and his team of kids, they look to be growing into a team that could potentially or eventually challenge. But they're going to have a few tank seasons. It's going to be 5 and 11 from me. How about you?
Yeah, so they also have a shiny new stadium that they can't use. That's the second time I've said that tonight.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there are actually any good teams in this division at all, because this is the third team that I and you don't really have much faith in.
No.
But I do have a lot more faith in Anthony Lynn as a head coach than I ever did before. I think Hard Knocks has had a lot to do with that. Before this, we just didn't really know very much about the guy.
No.
And he seemed a little bit out of his element. He had a good first season that seemed more like luck than management. And then it's tapered off. He's lost captain sidearm, Philip Rivers.
Yeah.
And they've drafted Justin Herbert in his place. But they don't think they're going to start him this year. So it's Tyrod Taylor's team. And he is bad. So the best I can really give them is the same as you. 5 and 11.
Keep matching.
Yeah.
Keep matching. But yeah, there we go.
They could prove us both wrong. You never know. You never know.
They could. I hope for their fans, or lack thereof, that they do prove us wrong.
At least they won't be hurt by not being able to have fans in the stadium. They're used to that already.
No. Yeah, that's doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's new or old. It's still going to have zero fan base. But anyway,
Well, let's move on.
We digress, I'm afraid there. So we're now moving onwards to the reigning Super Bowl champions and the Kansas City Chiefs. After you tell me what you think of them.
So there is a good team in this division. There is one good team in this
Finally.
division, and it's the champs. There's not really much to say about this team. They are set up to win now, as they have already done, and they already did in the Super Bowl earlier in the year. And they really, really should win and do well, considering the other teams in their division. That's 6 easy wins for them, which puts them well on their way to playoff contention before we've even considered out of division games. Patrick Mahomes now owns part of a baseball team, the Kansas City Royals, along with his ownership of the entire AFC West that he already had, which is nice if you can have it. I don't really see any reason that this team regresses, and I give them a 13-3 record, easy into the playoffs.
Yeah. So finally it's the champions. We got through that awful division and found a decent team. I mean, they are building something really special, I think, in Kansas City under the leadership of Mr. Patrick Mahomes himself and his mega money contract. I think they'll go really deep into the postseason. They building, like I said, something special, and they will be awesome to watch. Whether you're a fan or a neutral of that team, they will be good. And if they come to your town or your city, be prepared to lose. I'm putting them at repeat champions, and it breaks my heart to say it as a Patriots fan, but repeat champions, 14-2 in the regular season.
Wow.
But
I do wonder, and the time is up, but as a short digression, I do wonder if the bubble bursts on Mahomes at some point. I don't think it will, but there's something niggling in the back of my mind. Will it happen?
Yeah.
But it's a good job, A, that the Chiefs are there, but also that we decided to discuss another division today, because if we'd have just talked about the AFC West, actually, this would have been a pretty depressing episode of 2 Minute Warning. So we
very, very much so.
Slide across to the other side of the country now for the teams in the NFC West. And we're going to start things off. You're going to start things off with 2 minutes on the clock with the Seattle Seahawks. Over to you.
Okay, so this is another team that need to start stepping up. In my fondest memory of them, however, is Richard Sherman's face on the sidelines when they had it on probably something like the 3-yard line and decided to pass it instead of run it in to win the Super Bowl. But hey, that's a meme now. That's a meme now, and rightly so. But yeah, they need to step it up. They've got Russell Wilson. He's an excellent quarterback, very much underrated, and they will more than likely have all the pieces to do damage this season. So I'm saying, and people can quote me on this when it comes to it, but 13-3. How about you?
So this is another team really that's set up to win now.
Yeah.
And you can't really accept any excuses from this team. Looking at individual players, I think a whole lot of DK Metcalf. I followed him in college, and I was intrigued to see where he would go in the NFL. It took a little while for him to settle for his rookie season last year, but I think he's really going to hit his element this year and have a big year. A definite fantasy pick for me if there's anybody out there looking for fantasy tips. And people have slept a little bit on Russell Wilson as well. I think they've forgotten what a really freaking good QB that guy is because he might not be quite as good for your fantasy team. but he gets the ball where it needs to go, even if he isn't scoring the points himself, if you catch my meaning.
Yeah.
I also think, squeezing it in tightly, that Greg Olsen being there is going to have a huge impact on young players like Will Dissly. The learning tree is definitely going to be sat under in Seattle. Not quite as ambitious as you, but I think 12-4.
Yeah, like you
I
said,
totally crapped all over the end of that timer then, but yeah, it's my podcast. I do what I want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, just don't even use crap. You shit on it anyway. But there we are. I think moving on swiftly, we're now dropping south to the desert, and we're going to visit the Arizona Cardinals. What's your thoughts, your predictions on their chances this year, Jeremy?
The Cardinals are a tough one because there are improvements being made every year, but I really think this might be a year of regression for them. I think perhaps the confidence level is going to be too high and it's going to start to destroy the progress that they've made. That said, trading for DeAndre Hopkins was an inspired move.
Yeah.
You've got Larry Fitzgerald there, long-time veteran of the league, but you look at him and every season that he plays could potentially be his last. So having D-Hop there to jump into that void when he does decide to hang it up is an excellent security blanket to have. Yeah, the pieces are there, but I don't think they'll have a stellar season. I'm going 8-8 for the Cardinals.
Okay, that's fair enough. So I think these are another team on the rise again. I just think they do have the players there that could turn it on any given game or any given Sunday, depending on when they want to play. Like say DeAndre Hopkins, that's a revelation for them. He's a great pickup for them. I think he'll have a good year, to be honest, down there in Arizona. I just don't think they're ready quite yet to do any actual damage. And I don't think they'll make postseason. I'm going to be a bit more generous than you, and I'm going to say 9 wins, 7 losses. But who knows?
That would be a real kick in the teeth for them if they went 9-7 and didn't quite make the playoffs. But that happens. It happens every year. So
seen it plenty of times.
Just need a tough division to be forced out with even a winning record like that. So
yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go back to Hollywood, and we're going to chat now about the Los Angeles Rams. Your turn, go.
Okay, so the big news about this team was the whole stupid logo debacle when they changed it.
Yes.
And everyone made a meme out of it. The best one is the whole Donald Trump one, which is the tip top one, and I like that
turn
one.
It a bit. Yeah.
I think they have too many memes that are going around with them. They got rid of one of their best starting top names in Gurley, which has been absolutely crazy. I don't think Jared Goff has any mojo. I think he left that when they lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and he's never had it back. I don't think they're going to go anywhere near the playoffs, any postseason, and I'm putting them at 5-11. How about you?
So they have a shiny new stadium that they can't use yet. Like third and final time, I'm going to be saying that. But you're absolutely right. I think that Jared Goff, especially, and pretty much the entire team are still suffering that embarrassment from Super Bowl 53 because they haven't really got back in the groove since that embarrassing loss. And injuries have happened all around Jared Goff, including to Jared Goff, that haven't really helped matters.
No.
Not quite sure why they decided to get rid of Todd Gurley. That doesn't seem like they have a better option behind him, in all honesty.
Yeah.
They've got a tough division to overcome, and I don't think they can. 6-10. I think this is a bad year for the Rams.
Yeah, a bit more generous than me, though.
I'm just generally more generous than you, Matthew. That's what it comes down to.
Apparently so.
So, as I scroll even further, for some reason the notes have put a massive gap in the middle. But over to you to introduce our last team.
Okay, so last but certainly not least, we're moving on to the San Francisco 49ers. What's your thoughts on the losing Super Bowl team from last season?
It's time for Jimmy G to step up. So I felt like the 49ers won a lot last year in spite of him rather than because of him. And he's not a bad quarterback. So it didn't really make much sense why he was being so average a lot last year. He needs to be the linchpin of that team so that they can repeat or even better their 2019 successes.
Yeah.
Are they over their loss? Time will tell. Then we may have another repeat of the Rams here that can't quite overcome their past humiliations. But odds are good because they still have George Kittle. They've got killer running backs. They've got a solid defense. So I personally reckon that they will be fine. 11-5 is where I'm going.
Fair, prediction there. I said, I mean, like you said, are they really over that Super Bowl loss yet? I mean, I like that they're rebuilding with Jimmy G. I'm a big fan, no secret. I wish he hadn't have been kicked out of New England. So much so, I'm a fan that I'll even pick him as my second QB in my fantasy team.
He's one of your keepers, yeah.
He is my keeper. Everyone will laugh and he'll blow everyone away. But George Kittle, like I said, he got paid. He'll have another great season, I'm sure, as long as he stays healthy. I don't see a Super Bowl repeat this season, as it's been widely touted. But I think they'll win the division comfortably. 12-4 for me, but no Super Bowl repeat.
No, I don't think we see them in the Super Bowl this year again either.
No.
Nova Charter in the chat, who is from New England, says, Jimmy Garoppolo is great. I too wish he was still in New England.
That's the New England love going on there.
Where are your teammates to give you crap? I miss them. Bring them back.
No.
Bring back the hate for you and the Patriots. Let's bring it all back.
I've silenced them. No, I'm joking. I don't know. Where are you guys? Come on.
Aaron Hernandez style silencing.
No. Honestly.
Creepy.
That's a bit dark. That's a bit weird.
Quick aside, we talked about football movies and TVs last week. Have you seen the Aaron Hernandez documentary on Netflix?
No, I've not ventured near it, to be honest. It's the whole idea that he was killing people while still actively playing for the Patriots and getting away. Well, not getting away with it, but never found out. It's just like
not being made public, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I know you see all these things that go on in the league with X, Y, and Z players, this, that, and the other. I know the league protects players to a certain extent, but not on the Aaron Hernandez extent of like
No.
creepy fucking murderer level.
That dude was dark.
Yes, he was.
But as we draw to a close on this podcast, it's time once again for No Huddle.
Yeah.
Which means we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock. And this time you, Matthew, are going to fire as many questions at me as possible. So I'm going to get comfortable and make sure that I'm in a good position to think. As many questions as I can answer in 2 minutes. Any topic related to the NFL.
Okay.
No real limits. So are you ready to quiz me?
I certainly am.
Well, I am ready to be quizzed. 2 minutes. Begin now.
Okay. So, first question, Seahawks or 49ers, who wins the NFC West?
Seahawks.
Okay. Fantasy football, which position do you draft first?
I draft a running back first because there aren't that many good ones.
Okay. So, does Tua start week 1 for the Dolphins?
No.
Okay. XFL takeover, will it succeed under Dwayne Johnson and his partners?
Yes.
Okay. Super Bowl this year, will it have any fans? As in the stadium.
Well, that's a good one. I think it will have limited numbers of fans, yes.
Okay. Probably push the prices up as well. So, best wide receiver in the NFL at present?
That's a hard one. I'm going to go Julio Jones. Controversially, perhaps.
Interesting call. Not what I expected. Cam Newton, is he Superman or not?
No, he's not Superman. He's fine.
Okay.
Fine man.
Fine, man.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
No. Rodgers or Love in Green Bay?
Is this preference or who's going to start?
Who's going to start?
Rodgers will start.
Rodgers. Okay, so best XFL logo, Battlehawks or Dragons? If you can remember
the Dragons
logo.
had the better logo. Yeah, no, I think I can vaguely remember them. I think the Dragons had the better logo. Battlehawks had the better name.
Yes.
But the better logo was there. And that's the time. Quick extra, and you can answer this one as well.
Extra.
Would it make more sense to have the Super Bowl in the UK if we have the virus better under control, says Duff Valley?
Absolutely. Stick it in that place in Cardiff. It's fine. It's just down the road from me, mate. No, they'll hike the prices up, but I'll stand outside with a sign or something.
You know, it would be Wembley. If it was going to be anywhere in the UK, it would be Wembley.
Yeah, it's either going to be. They'd either have it Wembley or the Tottenham Stadium because it's obviously got the
Totty House.
Totty House, yeah. I think it might be there instead of Wembley. Actually,
I love that stadium. It has to be said.
Well,
I couldn't give a damn about British football, kicky ball soccer.
Yeah.
But going to that stadium and watching the NFL last year, I could probably go there and watch Tottenham Hotspur, maybe just to be in that stadium and enjoy there. I wouldn't care about what was happening on the field, but plenty of places to buy hot dogs and take in the atmosphere.
Well, I think it's it's a fantastic facility that we've got in the UK for American football. It's purpose built alongside soccer with the pitch that rolls on and pops up and everything.
Yeah,
fancy. I just think if we're gonna if the US does not have it under control, I think the UK could be a good alternative if if the league lets it outside of North America.
I do not want to imagine how unbearable comment sections on Facebook would be if the Super Bowl was moved outside the United States.
Oh, hell no.
That would
I'd have
be
to.
nuclear levels of
Yeah.
utter garbage conversation.
Yeah. We see it enough in like already pre-season, because it's pre-season that hasn't happened. Just stupid comments about, oh, this state, that state have got the COVID under control, and no, you haven't.
COVID's not real.
No,
All that kind of nonsense.
That's just unfortunate for them, because they got a stupid ass president. There we are. That's my thoughts. America, get rid of Trump. Vote somebody else.
Well, on that note, if people would like to discuss your political opinions further, where can they find you on the internet to do that?
I'm not giving those out, because I'll get like pestered by people because of my Trump hating. Anyway, no. On Twitter, I'm at Matt Ward 1985 UK. Facebook, just under Matt Ward, and on Instagram at 2MW Matt _IG. How about you?
Cool. You can find me on pretty much every social media platform at The Jez Show.
Yeah.
Mostly find me here on Twitch, where got Don't Get Me Started on Wednesday, some video games at the end of the week, and we have Cocktails and Bullshit on Saturday night with a special guest.
Oh, interesting. I shall be watching, because you won't divulge that information.
I will not divulge information, no. And if
I
don't pass out drunk, then we'll get to the effing F1 show on Sunday as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, all fantastic, all fantastic live streams and podcasts that you can pick up on the Jez Show network. And everybody that's listening or watching this tonight, I thoroughly recommend you check out some of your streams on Twitch. Definitely.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to go and edit this podcast now, because you swore a bunch. Thanks for that.
Oh, shit.
This has been 2 Minute Warning. I've been Jez. Say goodbye, Matt.
Goodbye, Matt.